All right, hey guys, this is Mark Lewis here, getting ready to disclose all up in your business. All right, so first step, obviously, when you're preparing disclosures, is you want to get your 1003 totally filled out. So you want to check. I just go from top from bottom or from top to the bottom. You got the borrower type in here, all their contact information plugged in. You want to have their present address, their mailing address. A lot of times you'll get hung up if you don't have like the dependents right here plugged in, um, or if you don't have the rent box checked. So you'll want to make sure you've got that. It's always a good time, obviously, before sending something out to double check that the purchase price and the loan type and all that is the same as what you've got on the contract, and all parties understand what's up with it. Then obviously property information. Once you plug in the appraised value here, that triggers disclosures. So you got essentially 3 days to send everything out. So you don't want to do this part right here until you've actually gotten a contract in and you're ready to send the disclosures out. As you're going down, you always want to plug in the accurate source of down payment, and then title will be held in manner. Basically, you just go through. Um, Sometimes it takes a while. Then you're going to have to enter their employment information in. If they're not employed, then obviously you don't have that. So they have no work. So for this particular borrower, all of their income is Social Security. But for anyone who's employed, you're going to have to plug in that 2-year work history. And the way you do that is you plug it in here, and then if they haven't been in that same job for 2 years, you click Show All VOE, which is verification of employment, and complete all of the boxes that it asks for. So you want like the date hired, date terminated, years on the job. All that needs to be filled in before the disclosures go out. Then assets. You're not necessarily going to put things in. So checkings and savings, a lot of times, if someone fills out the online application, it's going to say it right here in these boxes. But you actually want to go in and enter it in the show all VOD here and put in the account type and then the account number and the balance. So you want to, before you submit it to processing as well, you want to verify that these are accurate numbers. So you want to go in, take a look at the bank statements, make sure that all that's lined up with what they actually have in their account. Then going down, you want to also be sure here in details of transaction that you've calculated the earnest money is correct, what the seller credit is. You want to make sure that that's matched up with what's on the contract. And then here I've got a prorated tax credit. You want to check that as well. Mine's estimated, but it's a slightly low estimate. They've actually got a huge tax credit coming back to them, which is good. Then going down a little bit more, all this good stuff here. You want to select the race. Actually, I'm not sure if this person's white, but I think she said that, so that's what we'll go with. Not that it matters. A lot of times, if you don't know, I just hit I do not wish to furnish this information, and then signature date, the day that you're sending this stuff out, is that there's 3 dates that you want to be aware of. So it's the signature date here. Then there's another one that I'm about to go to on the next page, which is over here on the left. You want to go down the home counseling providers list. So right here, boom. You want to look at that. So you open that up. On this, here's where you're going to put the date. So that's another place. You want to make sure it's the same date that you're sending out disclosures. Then you go over here to get agencies. And you click that. Then you're going to select 4 different agencies on here. You can select more, but I just do 4. And then you hit get agencies. And it's going to automatically populate. You go down and save it. And voila. Very simple. So next step, settlement service provider list, just under that. Just work your way down. There, you're gonna click that, then go over here where I just clicked. Right here, you see this big green blob. Whoosh, right there in the center is you just click the little plus sign. And sorry, you hit apply template. Sorry, not the plus sign. I don't know why I did that big blob. I'm going to redo that. You just go to apply template. Here's the blob. Okay, there you go. So apply template. And then click those things. It automatically populates. Pretty sweet. And then it's important on this page right here, this bar going up, you want to raise it up. And under fees, there's a list of fees here. So boom, right here. You want to make sure that you go fill these out. And so the way that you make sure that those are filled out is you go look at the itemization page. And this is it's pulling up right now. So on the itemization page, this is, I'm assuming also that you've already filled out the, you've already ordered the title work or the title fees from Timios on here, because I did. So then what I do is I'll take a little snippet here. Computer's being janky. Okay, it's wigging out. All right, cool. So you take a little photograph, then you go back to the settlement service provider list that we were just on with those fees. Remember the bar? You lift it up. Boom. So I'm essentially, I'm going to take these fees that are all right here and transfer them into here. I have it on another screen. You can't see it. Settlement fee, 525. You just write it exactly as you see it on the other form here. Boom. I hope you guys are really excited. This is exciting stuff. 295. And then sometimes, let's see, closing protection letter, 100, that's an expensive one. And sometimes if you look on here, there may be something that's not listed. So see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fees over here, but there's only 5 fees right here. So you got to make sure you've got everything listed. So there's another one that you want to list. So apparently in Illinois, there's a DFI policy fee, and that's $6. So you want to mention that. Schwam. Then you're going to go down the next step. So sorry, I just clicked without showing you what it is. So then you're going from settlement service, you're going to request transcript of tax. And this is where you do hit this little plus button. So you click that and boom. You're going to select tax form is for borrower. So there's just one borrower. If there's two borrowers, you're going to want to do this twice. So you'll do it once for the borrower, and then you'll do it again for the other borrower. But then you just hit copy from borrower summary right here, and it's going to automatically populate. So that's good. So later you'll come in, and this is where you'll order the tax transcripts, but you can't do that until they order disclosures or until they've signed the disclosures. So then you're going over here to the itemization page. And so we're going back. And there's a few things that you'll want to do on this page to make sure that you got all your information plugged in correctly. So one of these is the aggregate adjustment, which is in section 1000. So you're probably going to scroll through here a whole bunch if you're new to this and look at all these boxes. The vast majority of these boxes you don't have to even worry about. So don't think about them. They don't matter. You're never going to use them. You're never going to type anything. They're just there. You got to worry about just a few. So anyway, we're going to come down here to this nice thing here in section 1000. Boom, section 1000. It's called the aggregate adjustment. And it's a pretty simple thing here. Essentially what you do is you click the aggregate setup. Also, I should have mentioned this is an FHA loan. So you want to find out, here's where you enter the property tax due dates and the hazard insurance due dates. And what you're going to do is you're going to go from the, you're going to put the closing date for hazard insurance. So hazard insurance, whatever the close date is, so right now it's 2016, the close date for this contract is actually earlier than I have plugged in here. That was an earlier estimation. And so the new close date is November 8th. So I'm going to edit this. So it's due 1 year after the actual close date. So I'm going to say 11/8/2017. Then under taxes, you're going to find out, you're going to actually look up where or when the taxes are due in that state, and you're going to plug that in here. So you can find that out from the realtor, you can find that out from the internet, but you want to double check and try to make sure that you got that plugged in accurately. Okay, so once you got that down, then you're going to come down here and you want to, there's a few things you want to find out. So lender's title right here. In Encompass, it actually reverses. So the actual like owner's title insurance and lender's title insurance are actually, you'll switch them in real life, they're switched, but in Encompass, you'll leave them like this. So in real life, lender's title insurance gets switched with owner's title insurance, but you leave them exactly as they are on here. However, this right here, listed under lender's title insurance, which is actually owners, is going to go over to be paid by the seller and not the buyer. So that's something you want to double check on. Then here as well, transfer taxes. These are usually going to be split directly between the seller and the buyer. So you always want to check though. It's going to vary sometimes depending on what state you're in, but for most places it's going to be 50-50. So if that's not outlined on the contract, then you're going to want to check with the realtor just to make sure. So all the information you just want to verify. So this is essentially, you divide it in two. So if you guys are good at math, then that's 179. Boom. 50. So that's what I'm plugging in. So anyway, then here, this section, you go down a little bit more. This is where there's a bunch of items that are, it says required services that you can shop for. So sometimes these boxes are going to be filled already and you have to delete them. So this might say survey fee, this might say septic inspection, this might say water well test. And if there's no septic and there's no well and there's no survey that's required, then you don't need that stuff. Forget about it. And but you do want to make sure when you erase it that you click this little button that I just clicked on the left here, and you want to delete everything from this section. You want to make sure this is empty. Usually it's going to say something, so it's going to say like survey 350. You want to erase that, get it out of here, and then right here it's usually going to already say, so let's say it says septic. You want to get rid of that and go to clear. Boom. So anyway, you just want to make sure that what's here is actually things that they're going to pay. So that's good stuff. Then going down, here's where you're looking at what the final cash is going to be from the borrower. This is something you want to keep your eye on because this is what's either going to freak people out or make them really happy when they get these disclosures. So they're going to look right here and it's going to say cash from borrower. And if this is crazy high, so if they pull this up and they're expecting their cash to close to be 8,000 and it's, 6 million, they're going to freak out. So you want to make sure that you've got enough with your earnest money, your seller credit, prorated tax credits. You want to make sure that everything that's plugged in here this is plugged in accurately for one, and that your cash to close is not more than the buyer actually has in their accounts to pay, because you have to, they have to have money to actually close. So then there's another thing you're going to go to right here, LE2. So I'm going to click this thing, LE2. And there's a section here that you want to make adjustments. So ideally you want your estimated cash to close right here to be the same as what's on the itemization page that we just looked at. Mine's a little off, so that means there's going to be some adjustments that need to be made. So I'll look in here. So it looks like I don't have, so I have paid outside closing items, prorated tax credit. Then there's an aggregate adjustment. So there's 4 things that are going to go here. So if you remember the aggregate adjustment, I'll go back to that in just a second. And then here's estimated rate credit. So again, this is items outside closing. What you do is you add up anything outside closing. So the so appraisal, which is, let's say, 550, and then the pest inspection, which is 125, so that's 675. And so those are items that are paid outside closing. Then prorated tax credit, put it here. Aggregate adjustment, I got to go look and see what that was. And then estimated rate credit. If you're expecting a rate credit, then you can plug that in there. But those are the 4 items. So this is, so I got 3,500 over here, but my cash to close on my itemization is different. So what does that mean? It means I got a problem to solve. It means I got to go back to the itemization and try to figure out what's causing the difference over here. So one thing that it could be is the aggregate adjustment. So I look at this negative 966 right here. So I'm going to go to LA2. And I'm going to plug in that 966 that's negative as a positive. So you take the opposite. If that thing was a positive, that would be a negative over here. But I'm plugging that in, 2540. So estimated cash to close is now 2540 on the LA2. and it's 2537 on this page. So really close. Usually you're not going to match it up 100%. It's usually going to be a couple dollars off. It just because the way that cents are calculated on here, it doesn't always transfer over. If some things are estimated, they're rounded when you take them to the LE2. But you essentially want to be just within a couple of dollars there to have that plugged in. So anyway, before I disclose, I'm going to go erase the estimated rate credit, because there's not one that I'm using for this loan at this moment. So anyway, then you're going to go back up here. So I'm sorry, you don't know where here is, but here is BOE internal loan audit. Boom. So you're going to select that. Pretty exciting. And then you're going to smart LE use. Absolutely not, unless you did, but you didn't. So then you're going to run the audit. 0 issues found. That's what you're looking for. You want this to say 0. If there's an issue, you best go get it dealt with. So next step, you're going to go to the Reg Z LE. So there's a lot of other stuff, Freddie Mac, purchase deadline, blah, blah, blah. Most things you can ignore. There's lots of stuff in Encompass that you just don't really have to deal with, so don't worry about it. This is one of those, remember there's 3 dates that you have to worry about. So there was one, the application on the front 1003 page at the bottom. Then there was the home counseling providers, and this is the 3rd date. LE date issued, 23, because that's what day it is. So you want to make sure you have that plugged in. On this page, for the most part, you're not worried about a lot of this, but you do want to scroll down until you see a section that says get late fee. So you scroll down until it says late charge right here in the blue, and then get late fee. Click that, boom, it calculates it automatically. Super simple. Super exciting. Clear. All right, cool. Then you're going to come down. I like these little highlighting pens. This is cool. FHA custom ing. Awesome. So you're going to click FHA custom ing, and all this stuff you just want to fill out. So section of the act, that's 203B. That's what this loan is, this FHA loan. If you want to click purpose of loan, purchase home, this stuff is all going to apply to whether it's just the person's situation. So do they own other real estate? No, they don't. There's no sales price because they're not selling it, but this is what you would fill out if they were selling another home. So do they own 4 dwellings? No. So this one, then 25, this one you always want to select. You hit the drop down and say, I now actually occupy the above property as my home. And then you put the appraised value in there. So this purchase price is $214. The appraised value. And then you put the lender code, the lender ID here, which is 23150 and then 10. So 23150 10. So at this point, we're getting pretty far along in the disclosures, and it's not taking forever. So there's a few other things you want to go to, and here's what, as you're learning, one thing you can do is, as you're getting ready to send out disclosures, you're going to go all the way up to e-folder, and when you click it, this is just a way to remember, it's going to tell you that there's something that needs to be done. So subject to your property built. So that means, okay, on this one page, there's something that I have to go do. So you'll go back and look at that. Before we do that, and always before you send disclosures, you're going to click tools, and you're going to go down to compliance review. So you're going to click that, and then you're going to go up here to order. Boom. So you hit that, click the button. Please wait while your order is being processed. Sometimes it takes a little second, but if you hang in there, You'll get that compliance review. Eventually, it's coming. You guys just wait. And we're here. Okay, cool. So pass, not process, pass. Basically, you don't want there to be a fail. That's what you want to avoid. Fails are not good. If there is a fail, then a lot of times you can scroll down and find out what the problem is, why there was a fail, or if there was an issue. But since there's no fail, then we're pretty good to go. So I'm going to go back to the thing that when I tried to order disclosures, it told me go enter the year that the property was built. If you're not sure, just look up the property on Google. So yeah, if you're not sure, you just basically type the property in on Google, and it's gonna pull it up on Zillow, Trulia, wherever you want to look, and it's gonna tell you on here what year that property was built. Look at this nice home. See all that green stuff on the front? It's very jungly, very elegant, and it's great. It's a great dwelling for a young family looking to establish roots. So this was this was created or built in 1949. So I'm just going to go back. Boom, year built, 1949. Looks like we're pretty ready to go. So I'm going to go hit E folder over here up in the top right corner. Also going to hit E consent first to make sure that that's done. Looks like it was done because they filled out the online application. So that's great. So I'm going to order e-disclosures. And it looks like we're ready to go. So one thing you want to do at this point is grab yourself a little notepad and write down the last 4 digits of the borrower's social. If there's a co-borrower, you want to do it for both of them. So you're going to look right there. And anyway, select here, you just select generic. And select the borrower. If there's 2 borrowers, you'll have to send out 2 sets of disclosures. And then you're going to click order e-disclosures. So here it's going to say a case assignment date is required. That's not true. You do not want to assign an FHA case number until after disclosures are signed for safety. And so anyway, you skip that, you hit order e-disclosures, and it's going to come up, and it generates all the documents with its generation power. And here we go back to preparation. Hope you guys really enjoyed yourselves in this disclosure video because it's going to serve you for the rest of your life. This is one of the most important things you will ever learn.
Yeah, I think so.
Almost generated. While we're waiting, we're gonna draw a house. This is one of the few things that I'm actually able to draw. I learned it as a child, and I always put a chimney and a little bit of smoke, and then I'll put a door here with a handle, and then I always do a window. And then a lot of times I'll actually, oh no, I'm messing this up. So then I'll put a bed up in the attic, just like this. I'll put a little pillow here. And yeah, isn't that the cutest thing ever? Yeah, I know. It's still generating documents. So this is actually a good time to call your leads. But I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Okay, here we go. It's coming. Oh man. Oh man. Boom, here they are. Okay, so at this point, a lot of times what I'll do, because borrowers are not always the brightest crowns in the tool shed, um, there's some wet sign documents. So wet sign means that they need to sign them with an actual pen, also known as moist documents. Don't tell the borrowers that. So wet sign only. A lot of times I'll just print these off because the borrower has to print them, but depending on who you're dealing with, some people, it's just easier to print them yourself. So print selected documents. And you essentially just save these as PDF and you can email it to them to sign, because I found that that's easier than than having them try to print it off. Um, some people, they have no trouble printing it off. Most people don't, but some people, they have a little trouble. So anyway, I'll save this as a PDF, not OneNote, but I'll do that afterwards. So anyway, then you'll come back. All right, my computer's wigging out. All right, so make sure all these things are signed, or all these are clicked here, and then you just go send. So here we go. It's going to send at some point. This is a good time to think about the meaning of life, all your hopes and dreams, what you want to accomplish. Think about the smile on their face when they get into a new home, and how they're going to be like, man, my loan officer, they sent out this awesome packet of disclosures, and I've never seen anything like it. So a lot of times I'll do something bold here. So I'll go, authorization code. I'll try to bold it. Boom. Authorization code. And remember, we wrote down their social. So we say is the last 4 digits of your social. So I'm going to bold all that. And then I'll make it a little bigger too, because some people are hard of reading. So then answer security questions, authorization code. You're going to enter their social here. And then it says electronic loan document request. And I'll say important. And then you send them out. And so you've almost made it to the end here, at least the disclosure part. So you're waiting on this to load. So there's all this progress going on. This is a good time to go ahead and print this as a PDF. And by this, I mean those wet or moist documents that I was previously talking about. So submitting offer. Nope, contract in. Here we go. So I'll just save them as wet documents, and then I'll email them. Anyway, I'll go pick those up and email them to the borrower afterwards. But then you're going to go here. This comes up after you send out disclosures. This page comes up. You're going to click next, and here's where you e-sign some things. So you just click to sign it. It's very simple. Finish. Boom, and it's been sent. So now you're done. That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of sending out disclosures like a boss. Just keep on practicing until one day you're the best disclosure sender outer in the whole office and maybe even the whole state. And if you keep going and you keep going, maybe you'll be the best in the whole world.